Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another first impressions video, and today we're going to be taking a look at The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. This game is being developed by the Astronauts, and I recently requested for a review code so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. So I'm going to start a new game in order to give you guys my first impressions on this title, mainly because I want to avoid giving you guys any spoilers, because I kind of feel that if I show you too much ahead of like the first couple of minutes, I will be spoiling a lot of the game for you. And however, there's like almost no way to show you guys this game without spoiling the very start of it, at least, because I mean, at the very start, there's going to be puzzles like right as you get started. And I'm going to be going through some of those, so just be warned as you watch this title. Other than that, let's just get started and see what this is all about. Yes, I will override my previous progress. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This game is a narrative experience that does not hold your hand. And that is actually something that I really like about it.
Ethan Carter, I didn't know, but he knew who I was. When the police won't help you and the priests don't believe you, you call on Paul Prospero. You call on me. If you're a kid like Ethan, you're right. Plenty do. Ethan's letter started out just like any other fan mail, but soon there were mentions of things no little boy should know about. There are places that exist that very few people can see. Ethan could have drawn a map. I hadn't entered Red Creek Valley yet, but already I could feel its darkness reaching out for me. Finding Ethan Carter wasn't going to be as easy as knocking on his door. I was too late for that. To find Ethan, I had to figure out what this place was trying to hide from me.
Okay, so this is exactly as you get put into the world, and then the story kind of gets told from this point onward, which is again one of the reasons why I didn't want it to go too further into the game, because like I said, it would kind of spoil the story for you. Now, as you guys arrive onto the game, and as you guys are probably looking right now on YouTube, this game looks gorgeous. I'm not sure how this is actually showing on YouTube because of YouTube's compression algorithms and whatnot, but something that I've noticed is it is a little bit bright. Let me see if I can fix that. I'm assuming there's some kind of, yeah, there's some brightness here. Let's lower this down just a little. Well, it's actually foggy, that's the thing, and I'm not going to be able to change that. And you guys might think, oh, it's foggy because they want to hide out all the imperfections in the graphics or anything like that. And no, you're wrong, because this game graphically just looks amazing. And here's another thing, like, I'm not even running it fully maxed out because I don't think my 4-year-old rig would be able to handle it fully maxed out. So I like having smooth frame rates. It's not even about the amount of frames you're getting per second, it's more about how smooth the experience is than anything else for me personally. But okay, you get put into this world, and essentially you get told a little bit of a story about how some boy named Ethan Carter has been messaging you, and you are playing as Paul Prospero. Now, Paul Prospero happens to be some kind of a psychic detective, because he can kind of like feel. Is it psychic? I'm not sure if it's psychic, because it's supposed to, it's occult-oriented detective, because you can kind of almost commune with the dead is the idea that I get from this. But as you get started, you're just placed here and you're left to your own devices. Now, I've already done the start of the game, so I kind of know a couple of the puzzles. I probably miss a lot of stuff simply because there's a lot of things for you to explore, because like you're looking over there and you go, okay, I can go all the way over here, and you can just kind of explore this area and figure out what is going on here. Now, I'm personally going to be heading out to specific things that I already know are in the vicinity, like this. This is a trap, and you get this sense mechanic, and you guys are like, whoa, what the hell is that about? So you press it, and that is going to give you a window into another location, but as you can see, it is incomplete, so we have to look for more clues. So I already know where some of these things are, at least I think I know where most of these traps are, so let me just go ahead, try and find them. So I think there's one like over here. There we go, there's another trap, and we should be able to sense this as well. You guys will notice it's going to fill up a different thing now. So obviously we're looking for all of these traps, and that is going to reveal some aspect of the story. And also notice that it is very easy for you to just walk by this and just like follow. If you're following the railroad, you can just keep on going and completely skip all of this. So a lot about this game is about how much you enjoy exploring and finding out hidden things, because not everything necessarily matters for like the main story of the game, but it will give you a better understanding of what is going on. So here's another piece of the puzzle there, another trap, and I believe there's more if we keep going like in this direction. We should be able to like go up and beyond somewhere. Yeah, like through here. I think there's more traps. Like I didn't memorize every single thing, but I think there should be. There's another one. Now I think we're just missing one more trap. Let's use again the sense mechanic, and it is filling up, and we're now only missing one. Okay, so let's look for that one final trap, which is always the more elusive one I've come to find. I'm always missing this one trap for some reason, and it always frustrates me a little bit because I've went through the game, I mean the start of this title like 2 or 3 times now, just to kind of get the gist of it, and you can explore quite a bit. I mean, as you can see, like from this, the graphics are just beautiful, and they're clearly not putting fog in there just to kind of like prevent you from seeing graphical imperfections or anything like that, because the game just looks beautiful. As a matter of fact, as I was playing through this title, I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe they are not like officially supporting Oculus Rift as of the time of this video recording, because I checked and I couldn't find like anything that specifically said, yes, the game fully supports Oculus Rift. Like it probably supports it in some way, but I don't think it's official yet. Don't quote me on that though, I could be wrong. I didn't like search too much. I just went to the forums and stuff and I couldn't find anything specific to it. But I can tell you, as someone who has used both Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus, that this title is like one of the ideal candidates for those games. Because a lot of people are probably thinking that the best thing about Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus would be to do first-person shooters and stuff. You're actually wrong. Like, for some people, I would say that this is the perfect title. Anyways, we found the last trap, and now you guys will see what is going to happen here. Yes, a lot of dead bodies. A lot of really bad stuff happened here, apparently. And we were here previously, by the way. We were at this tree. It's just it didn't have all the dead bodies around. So the fact that we went through those traps and basically uncovered this particular thing is going to give us more information about the game's story. As you can see, we have now this paper here where you can click and you can read it. And you guys are like, oh man, I can barely read what's going on there. That's okay. The game has thought about that. You press space, you get the text version. So this is the story of sap. An old man came to the forest every day to drink sap from the trees. To get there, the old man had to step around many dangerous traps. The villagers believed this old man had hidden a jade amulet in the forest, but the old man wanted the villagers to believe this because then they would search the forest for treasure and not drink his sap. One cool fall night, someone set fire to the forest and the fire spread to the village. The old man escaped the fire by covering himself in sap. When he returned to the village, he found all the villagers' bones. The old man sat down and cried. Then he found more sap to drink. So the bones that you see around that tree, I'm assuming, are the bones of all the villagers. Now, when I click accept here, something else is going to happen.
Ethan, I told you, you can't be here.
But Gramp, I wrote something for you.
That's real nice. Thank you. Just leave it. I'll read it later.
So this gave us a little bit of a dialogue between Ethan and his grandfather. So that should provide you with a little bit of backstory. Also, if you guys notice, in this little piece of paper, if you rotate it around, you can actually see the fire has been drawn in the paper. And this is some kind of, oh, it's actually an essay or homework, whatever, which was written by the little boy, Ethan Carter. Okay, so that's that. Looks like there's also some kind of packet of cigarettes. I never noticed the packet of cigarettes before. That's weird. Huh. And there's another piece of paper that you got here that you can read. This tells you about someone who died in a house fire. You can, like, figure out some more stuff about this. Fire damaged a historic home in Red Creek Valley Wednesday morning, according to officials from the Bayfield County Fire Department. Family of 6 was asleep when the blaze broke out at the remote house once owned by Albert Vandegrift at 46 Old Ogden Road in Red Creek Valley. Gail Carter, 58, was pronounced dead at the scene. Remaining family members were able to escape. Carter's husband, Edwin, told investigators he may have fallen asleep with a lit cigarette in his hands. So that might be what caused the fire. Firefighters were dispatched to the scene at 1:22 a.m. and remained at the scene until around 5 a.m. Wednesday. They returned to the property 4 hours later to extinguish hot spots which had rekindled. Assisting at the initial fire was the Ashland Township Volunteer Fire Department. Masonville Emergency Medical Services was on standby at the scene. If you go ahead, then it gives you more details about the Vandegrift family. I don't want to like go through all of this stuff because I know that a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh man, boring, just show us more. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I don't think there's a lot more to explore in this area of the game, apart from the whole traps and stuff. But again, I could be wrong because, like I said, this game is all about your power of observation and just kind of taking your time with it. It is not very... like the experience of watching someone else play through it is not very authentic because, I mean, for instance, one of the things that I did while I was walking through this bridge was I was constantly looking down and seeing how the bridge was under construction and just admiring the scenery and taking in the scenery. And that's not necessarily something that you can express through a video because even though...
Valley seemed like a quiet, ordinary place. I've learned 2 things in my life. No place is truly quiet. And nowhere is really ordinary. Ethan warned me about that. Warned me not to be fooled by what I saw here. He didn't need to worry. I'd worked dozens of cases, hundreds. This would be my last one.
Okay, so before I got interrupted by a little bit more dialogue there, as I was saying is like, for instance, I may be looking over there because I find this particular vision of that wall all the way in the distance and the water and the trees. I find this to be really cool, but someone else might look over this way and be like, oh man, the sun, praise the sun, and just like look at this side and find this side more compelling, you know? And it's all about just taking in your environment. It's very atmospheric. Something that would have been really cool if they had bothered to do it would have been to actually have a model of your character, which at least right now, I haven't seen the character in third person. I've seen some cinematics of this game, like in trailers and whatnot, where maybe your character shows in third person, but up until this point, I have not seen my own character in third person. And the reason why I'm saying that would be important is mostly because of Oculus Rift support. Like, I know that a lot of you guys haven't used the Oculus Rift or Project Morpheus, but something very important is that when you look down, you actually see like your legs and your arms and stuff like that. That is very important in terms of immersion for something like the Oculus Rift. And again, I know that I'm almost making the case for this game to like, you guys should just implement Oculus Rift because it would just, I think this would be an amazing experience with it. I know that my mind would probably be blown just because of how beautiful the game looks graphically and the amount of detail that has been put into it and just straight up polish. I mean, just look at this. It's so detailed, you know? That's essentially where I'm getting at. Anyways, let's continue onwards here. There's not really a whole lot to this particular bridge. But again, it's just one of those things that you could go through here and just over analyze everything and like see, oh man, look at how the rails are messed up and look at the water down there. And it's again, it's one of those games that you just have to take your time and kind of like absorb every little moment. Now I'm going to continue through the game so that I can show you guys one specific sequence that just blew my mind, that I was just like, oh, this is amazing, and if it's got more stuff like this, it could be really, really impressive. But anyways, first things first, we got this little rail car here, which if you inspect this particular section of it, blood, animal, human, accident, murder, what could have possibly happened here? Crankshaft, fresh scratches, recently used, huh. And now you'll be able to focus on this crank. I know that you're supposed to be able to focus on it, but for some reason... Yeah, I keep forgetting that you have to, like, when you get this, you have to see where you aim to the point where the words just kind of join in together, which, as you can see, as we aim there, boom. That means that whatever is the solution to this crank thing is like in that direction. That's the logical conclusion that I've reached. And anyways, and if you hold down your left mouse button now, it's going to show you the crank. Because again, of the occult powers or whatever or psychic powers that this detective has. And you can see that there's that wall over there that I mentioned earlier. Let me actually stop that and give it another go. Like, if you pay close attention to the crank and notice the wall that is going to appear now, that wall in the distance. So if you look, it is that wall, which means that we need to go somewhere down there near the water in order to find the crank for this thing. Now, I could enter this, but I already know that nothing is going to happen in there, so I'm not going to do it. But the first time I came here, obviously I explored the entire thing, but we will eventually enter there, so don't you worry. You can also veer off the beaten path. There's usually lots of rewards in terms of like visual stuff that you can see when you veer off the beaten path. At least that's what I've came to find so far. As a matter of fact, like, I'm going to end this video on one of those high notes because I really enjoyed what I've seen there. You can also see a couple of more clues here, like there's some kind of rope, cut ties, untied, tied, no blood, rope. So you can see that someone was probably tied here, but there's no blood here. However, there is some blood out here. Oh yeah, also before we proceed, let me just warn you, the next scene is going to be a little bit graphic. Now, usually I don't tend to give this warning too much, but since this game is like so kind of like realistic and it just looks so good, it might be extremely gory for some people. So you guys have been warned. Anyways, as we move in here, you'll notice we have 2 severed legs. And they're really like severed. They've been chopped down by something. So let's inspect this rest of the corpse. Blood trail. Victim dragged away, crawled away. And you can see that there's some kind of a blood trail leading here. Now, we can either choose to go on and just ignore all this, or we can choose to follow in this blood trail, which is what we will do. Under construction. And you can see that there's a corpse here. Blood from legs, blood from fractured skull. Cause of death, head trauma. It also looks like his hands are just so bloody. Anyways, let's touch this corpse. This gives us a little bit of the image, which means we're still missing some things to figure out the entirety of what happened. So something that I noticed is that there was a little bit of diesel can here. So let's inspect this. Gasoline, diesel fuel, dropped carelessly in a rush on purpose. Again, this is like your detective, almost detective sense, trying to figure out what is going on here. Inspect, dried grass, no sun. Rectangle shape. Rail car from the bridge. Rail car. And again, we're at that scene that essentially we have to aim and find out where the rail car is, but we already know the rail car is like somewhere in that direction. And this allows us to see the blood in the rail car that we've seen previously, as well as the rail car itself. So obviously the game kind of tells you you should be interacting with the rail car in order to kind of proceed to the next aspect of things, but we're going to just drop that for now, and we're going to head down, because if you guys remember, we have the crankshaft that we want to get. So we still can't do anything to the corpse. We're going to continue onwards and see what we can find here. I haven't fully solved this mystery, by the way, so it might be a little bit anticlimactic when we reach the conclusion that I honestly do not know how to solve this particular mystery, but you guys will just have to apologize me for that. And it also leaves you guys with a little bit more to imagine. But anyways, let's go ahead and look for that crankshaft, which should be here. Here it is. You can rotate it, look at it. It's got some blood on it. You can zoom in. It's definitely got a lot of blood on it for some reason. I wonder if you used it to crack the dude's skull or something. Okay, let's take this. Actually, I should analyze that corpse again, because maybe some clues will be formed from the fact that we have the crankshaft with us. That kind of makes sense. Let's have another look at it then. Something tells me the dude used the crank, then smashed this guy in the face, and then just threw the crank thinking that he would hit the water, but he didn't actually hit the water. No, it doesn't look like it's actually showing us anything. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because the crank is just chock full of, it's just chock full of blood, essentially. There's some kind of a mile marker here on the railroad as well. Let's move on. I'm constantly looking around because I really wanted to find the missing clue. I know I'm missing one clue from this murder, because obviously the legs were probably severed by using that rail car. Let's just go back here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I know you guys are like, man, you and your OCD about not missing things. Yeah, this game is like friggin' crack cocaine for my OCD, just like completely going ballistic here. But we should be able to place the crank here. And now we can just spam it. And that starts the little rail car thing. Now we're able to enter it, which we were able to enter it previously, but it wouldn't really do anything. And once you get here, you're going to have access to a bunch of controls for it. So you can move forward, you can move back. If you move forward all the way, nothing really happens, since the bridge is essentially still under construction. But it's a nice thing that they let you just play around with this, you know? It's almost like a virtual playground that you can just fool around in while you are trying to solve the mysteries and whatnot. And again, this is one of those things that if you had an Oculus Rift, this would be so cool, just walking around in this thing. I mean, making this thing move backwards and forwards and you being inside it. Trust me, it's a really great experience. Anyways, we're going to move it all the way back to the place where we found the body, because that seemed to be the thing that my occult sense was telling me to do. So that is exactly what we'll do. And we will just move this. Okay, there it is. There is the... Stop it. Is this the place that we want to leave it on? I think it might be. Check. Yep, this is close enough. So if you guys notice, you heard a little sound. That sound means that we've probably completed something in regards to this, which it now gives us a bigger picture, but it's still not enough. We're still missing like one piece of the puzzle, which I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm wondering if I can take this thing away. Like, that would be cool, but I can't. Let's turn this thing off, because it's pointless to leave it running. I'm not exactly sure if turning it off actually does anything, but at least it will be less noisy. So we'll just turn that off, and something that I would like to do is actually pick up the crank and take it with me, but I don't think you can do it now. Spin crank? Yeah, it just starts again. I was hoping you'd be able to take the crank away, but you can't. I'm just going to enter again and turn this off because of the noise. I don't want to have this in background noise. But unfortunately, we're also not going to be able to solve the murder this time around, which is something I haven't been able to solve this particular one. And this murder may or may not be related to the vanishing of Ethan Carter. It is just a part of the game that's here for you to kind of explore. And I'm assuming that once you complete the scene, you would be able to find out more things about how that dude died. But I'm pretty sure the end result of that would be us seeing someone just bash the dude in the head with the crankshaft. Almost sure of that, but I could be wrong. Anyways, we can't actually proceed through here. The game has a lot of invisible walls, unfortunately, which is, in a way, it's a little bit disappointing. In another way, I can see why they did it, because, I mean, the game still has quite a bit of stuff for you to explore, and you will find out what I mean by that. Oh, we can actually... No, we can't go there. I'm pretty sure that whatever clue I'm missing is going to be somewhere here. It's just I would really love to find it. The one clue that I'm missing for that particular murder. But it can probably be a little bit complex to figure out where that clue is. But I want to show you guys something really cool, which is the sunset. Not the sunset, but like you can see the sun in an area in this forest further up ahead. And it's just a beautiful vista. That is something that this game is... Again, I keep saying it, but it is really beautiful. It is almost like a work of art the graphical detail that was placed into it. I mean, sure, the gameplay is something that is definitely not going to appeal to everyone because it is not a typical game. It is a different experience, but I still find it to be extremely beautiful. I mean, just look at this. You see this lake, you see the trees, you see the sun. It's one of those things that it can't be put into words like, oh, would you explain the gameplay? Well, the gameplay is almost like CSI with psychic powers and occult and whatnot. That's essentially what I would describe this gameplay as. A lot of people have come out and said, oh, it's kind of like Ethan Home and Dear Esther, and to be honest, I never played either of those games, so I can't really compare it that way, but I still enjoy what I've seen from this game. And something that really grasped me was something that is going to happen pretty soon here. But unfortunately, I was still in the expectation that I would be able to find the missing clue for the assassination thing. But I highly doubt that is going to happen. So let's just see what we can find throughout here, apart from that assassination thing. Because the one thing that I wanted to show you that is really, really cool is here. And unfortunately, it's almost like a little bit of a spoiler, but since this is like less than an hour in, I can't really just I can't stop myself from showing it to you. I will warn you when that particular scene begins, so if you want to keep that a surprise, like if you're compelled enough that you want to get this game and be surprised by it, I will warn you before that scene, and you guys can click out of the video if you want. Otherwise, I would highly recommend that you stick around to watch that part, though. But we'll see. Let me just see if I can find that one item, because I know that there's an item somewhere in here that I need to find that is really well hidden, and it is the coolest thing that I've seen in this game so far. But it looks like we haven't found that item yet, which is very frustrating. So this takes us back to the water, right? Yeah, I don't think there's anything else for me to find here, but I could be wrong, so let me just see. Yeah, again, invisible wall. You can't go into the water. This is as far as you can go into the water. And yeah, this is essentially the place that we came to get the crank, and I can't seem to find anything else here. Let's move on. I know that I'm delaying myself a little bit here. It's just, I know that there's one item that I want to get to. It's just like I don't know where it is because it's so well hidden. It's like they purposefully hid that one item, and it's just so cool. I thought there was a bit of dialogue here. I guess it's further on. So we got some pieces of wood here. I'm going to head back into the forest because I know that the item that I want is somewhere in this forest. That's where I heard an animal or something. Yeah, there's definitely something making noises here. Oh, there it is. That's the item that I wanted to see. Right here. See that yellow thing? That's one of the items that I wanted to find. Just look around for a little bit more. Again, I'm still trying to find the one thing that would solve the rest of that murder down there, but I know I'm not going to find it because rage. And here we go. And you guys are like, but what's this? This is kind of weird. Ooh, you can interact with it. Yes, you can. You guys are about to find out what that is exactly. So, let's get started with this. I think it was here. No. Here. Maybe the lowest one. Yep. Oops. You have to actually guess an order, and it changes. Because last time, the order was different, I can assure you guys. So now you have to follow that astronaut. Which is interesting because the developers of this game are called the Astronauts. And this is actually a fantasy of Ethan. You guys will understand what I'm talking about in a couple of seconds here. Like, it blew my mind when I saw this thing for the first time, and you guys will understand what I mean by that. And this is that one thing that I told you guys about. So, if you want to click away, now is your chance as I'm running after this astronaut, because the next thing that you guys are going to see is probably going to blow your minds, particularly in a game like this. It is just so cool. Come on, where is it? You just have to chase after this astronaut, which I'm assuming is like a representation of Ethan, and Ethan is trying to guide you. But again, this is just like my personal assumption. I could be wrong. I don't know. I bet you guys didn't see that one coming. I definitely didn't, and when I saw it for the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this? It's insane! What the hell is going on here? Oh my god. And this is essentially, like I said, this seems to me like it is one of Ethan's fantasies. And you guys are like, so what are you supposed to do now? Like, what is this about? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the same thing Ethan did. I didn't want it to commentate over what happened there because I just thought it was such an amazing experience the first time I saw it that I wanted to just let you guys enjoy it. Yeah, there's a bunch of other capsules here, and this is essentially like, you know how when you're a kid and you have a really active imagination and you like anything that you can do to kind of escape reality is a lot of fun. At least that's the way I kind of feel about it. And this is kind of like Ethan Carter's way of escaping reality. It's just we're experiencing it through our psychic powers or whatever have you. If you guys look at the rooftop of this the top of this pod, it says extraterrestrial containment capsule number 86911. I wonder if the numbers 86911 will have like a further significance as you go through the game later on. But anyways, as you can see, we now have another piece of paper here from Ethan, and you can read it. And it is once again one of those essay things. This time it is called Fangs. Fangs. The beast had fangs, but it was heavy and slow. So when it saw the light in the sky, it waited, thinking the light would go out, like the others before it. When it did not, the beast rose up in its legs and went to the place where the fire was still burning. As the orange light died, another took its place. This one was blue, a bright and pure blue that the creature had only seen along the edges of the stars. The beast showed its fangs and the light vanished. A moment later, the light appeared again between two distant trees. The beast wanted to go home, but it could not ignore the light, so it chased it deeper into the forest. When the light stopped, it did so in a clearing of trees. The beast entered the circle, feeling no fear. The trees turned toward the beast, pointing at it like needles. But the tops of the trees lowered and dug into the ground. The trunks and roots were raised into the air and closed around the beast like walls. As the group disappeared, the beast realized it would never use its fang again. And I should have said, as the ground disappeared, the beast realized it would never use its fangs again.
Get out of my room, Travis!
Stories, stories. Always with the stories.
Get out!
I read the Fangs one. I liked the Beast. At least he gets to leave this goddamn place.
And as you pay attention, essentially this is still, I think this is still the Fangs thing. Yeah, still the same thing. If you pay attention, like the place that you end up in is kind of like a rocket thing that Ethan was probably building out of wood, which essentially is, it's again the imagination of a child. That is what he saw when he came to this place. It was escapism. And I just found that really fascinating because it is something that you can kind of relate to as an inner child. Like when you played as a child, that was the kind of stuff that you would dream about. Like, oh man, I want to go to space. Like you would put yourself inside a cardboard box and be like, oh man, this is my spaceship. It's my spaceship. It's got my controls and stuff. Like, I know I did that as a child. So this particular portion of the game really spoke out to me, not to mention it was very, again, visually impressive like the rest of the title. And again, here I go, just trying to find the solution to that murder that took place all the way back there, and I just don't think it is going to happen. So we'll move onward just a little bit more, just so that you guys can see a bit more of the scenery and how things are actually going to change from this moment onward. So if you keep going through here, there's actually like 2 paths that you can take. You can go, well, actually, all these paths converge onto the same place. You can see that there's some kind of a train station here. There's nothing you can interact with. I was hoping you'd be able to interact with the watch, but it looks like that is not the case. Also, I'm not sure if Red Creek Valley is some kind of actual place in the world. I'm going to say it's probably not, but I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a bit more of dialogue here. Got some electricity.
No trains have been through here for a long time. That was part of a pattern. Large pieces of this country were thrown away, doomed to become, and then remain, the worst versions of themselves. Beneath all that rot, dark things grow.
Yeah, like I said, there was a little bit more of dialogue there, but there was a little bit of a power plant thing going on. I was just looking to see if I'm just hoping against hope that I would find the next piece of that puzzle. But it's just one of those things. When you're confined by time because you're making a video and whatnot, you're not going to be able to find everything. And I already went through this like multiple times trying to find like more pieces of the puzzle, and I wasn't able to. Oh, are we actually able to go down there? No. And I wasn't able to, so I doubt I'll be able to find it during the course of making a video. I'm trying to go down there. I don't think you're supposed to. The game doesn't let you do anything that like would harm yourself, like jumping down. There's going to be invisible walls preventing you from doing that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can actually die in the game, but you do have to look for... Whoa. What the hell happened there? A little bit of lag for some reason. Frame skipping and whatnot. Again, just hoping against hope. But yeah, this is the gameplay of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I think it looks amazing. It plays really good. If you like this kind of title, I think you will love The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. You know, the kind of title of investigation, of trying to figure out how and why things happened the way they did. I think it's actually quite fascinating, and it kept me engaged in it simply with that rocket scene. I know that it's kind of like, oh, so it showed you something flashy and you were all excited for it. And yes, it is essentially what it did. But it definitely kept me engaged with that one scene, which is a weird thing to say, I know, but I'm still going through the line, but I didn't find anything here last time. I was just like going through the motions here. There's just so many things to explore that I just want to go all over the place and try to find out more and more. But it doesn't look like I'll be able to go past here. There's like rocks in the way. Maybe there's something hidden somewhere in here and I just don't know. But you can't go down through these rocks. Usually they set these rocks to kind of mark the points that you're not supposed to go past. And they're a little bit strict in the direction that they want you to go. I haven't really seen veering paths just yet. Like, you're supposed to go in this direction, which will take you on to that village, and in that village there's instantly like another puzzle for you to solve. And again, you see this tree and how it's autumn and how the leaves are falling. It's just, the detail is mind-blowing, particularly for a studio that I'd never heard anything from before. The studio called the Astronauts. I had never heard of them before, but then again, I do have, unfortunately, limited knowledge because there's so many things happening now in the gaming industry that I just have limited knowledge of what is going on. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I know I did. I thought it was very, very interesting. There's still a lot more to discover. I'm pretty sure that you can go all the way down to those houses over there because you can see that there's like a path and stuff. You can go closer to the water. It's just, you're going to have to explore. Like, I'm assuming you can go through here and then go to the right and whatever and find out more things, more details, and just beautiful vistas. I think one of the game's biggest assets is definitely how beautiful it is, and that is going to pull a lot of people in. But yeah, that's going to be it. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.